Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today I'm going to be doing a Geargia deck profile. So I'm really excited to do something for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that can turbo out all sorts of awesome XZ monsters to be able to go in for game. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like in your name description every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 3 copies of Augur. Augur is definitely a 3 of the build. It's probably the best normal summon in the entire deck, because this card is actually a Stratos for the deck. Then when this card is normal summon, you get to add a level 4 machine monster from your deck to your hand, except another copy of this card. Also, you cannot declare an attack nor special summon monsters except for machine monsters for the rest of the turn, which is totally fine because we're usually going first with this build, so just summoning out this card will get you the exact card you need. We then play 3 copies of Accelerate. Accelerate is actually my favorite Geargia card in the entire deck because this card is an amazing extender. And if you control a Geargia monster, you can special summon this card from your hand in defense position, and also when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can target a Geargia monster in your graveyard, accept a copy of Accelerate, and add that target to your hand, which is great to be able to instantly get one of your cards back to your hand to keep extending your plays. We then play 3 copies of Arsenal. Arsenal is great as a 3 of as well in the deck because this card has the ability to gain 200 attack for each Geargia monster that you control. And you can also tribute this card to special summon a Geargia monster from the deck in defense position, except another copy of this card, getting the exact Geargia you need on your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Armor. Armor's another searcher for the deck, which is amazing. And this card has the ability once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position, but when it's flip face up, you get to add a Geargia monster from your deck to your hand, except a copy of Armor, which is a great effect to instantly get another Geargia monster to your hand. We then play a single copy of Geargino. Geargino is just a really good 1-up in the build to be able to work with our trap card, Geargia Gear, and I really like this card as a 1-up in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Geargino Mark II. This card is an amazing 2-of in the build and has a really cool ability that when this card is normal or flip face up, you can actually special summon a Geargia monster from your hand or grave in defense position, which is just going to extend your plays. We then play a single copy of Mark III. I just feel like 1 Mark III is all you need in this build. Being able to play 4 different Gearginos is just really good to be able to work with your copy of Geargia Gear, and why I play 4 of them in the deck. We then play 2 copies of Gold Gadget. Gold Gadget is just really good at helping you get additional monsters on your side of the field, because when this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a level 4 machine monster from your hand, meaning you can special summon anything from Armor all the way over to Augur, which is amazing. You have so many different targets to be able to summon off this card's ability. We then also play 2 copies of Silver Gadget, which does the exact same thing as Gold Gadget, which is why we also play this card in the deck, basically giving us 4 normal summons that we can just get an additional monster on the field and going for a rank 4 play. We then play 2 copies of Terverion King Regulus. Terverion King Regulus is a walking negate, an amazing 2-of in the build because it has the ability you can target a Terverion monster or a machine monster in your graveyard, special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, equip that monster to this card, which is a really cool effect. Plus, it is a walking negate, which is insane about this card, making this card a definite 2 in the build. We can search it, which is really good, but I feel like 2 is still great. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom just to round out the monsters. Ash Blossom is just a fantastic hand trap just to stop your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Double or Nothing. Double or Nothing is an amazing 1-of in the deck because we can make a copy of Utopia Double, detach a material from it, summon out a copy of Utopia, and search this card from our deck. And then once we do that, Utopia comes out at 5,000 attack points. We can attack into an opponent's monster, but not directly, and then activate the ability of Utopia to negate its own attack, drop Double or Nothing, and then once you do, you swing back in for 10,000 damage to OTK your opponent. And in a rank 4 deck like this, it's super easy to be able to summon out a copy of Utopia Double to be able to go in for 10,000 damage. We then play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. Goods is good. We have an amazing target we want to send to the graveyard off this card's ability, which is actually going to be Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is definitely a 3-of in this build because this card makes our Geargia monsters huge. This card is ability all face-up monsters on the field become machine monsters, and machine monsters that you control gain 500 attack and defense points. Also, machine monsters that your opponent control lose 500 attack and defense points, which is a great ability. But the reason we're playing Foolish Burial Goods in this deck is because of this card's ability that you can actually banish this card from the graveyard, discard a card, and then add an Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand, essentially getting you any of your Geargia monsters that you need, which is amazing. This card is definitely a 3-of in the build and works really well in the deck with our copy of Foolish Burial Goods. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're going to be playing 2 copies of Trap Trick. Trap Trick is definitely a 2-of in the build because this card just works really well with our copies of Geargia Gear, because it basically turns Geargia Gear into a 5-of in the deck to be able to see it, which is just amazing about these cards, that you can basically just use Trap Trick to be able to get to this card, which is why we're playing it in the deck. Geargia Gear is an extremely important card to be able to get to because it lets us special summon 2 Geargino monsters from our deck and increase their level by 1, getting us 2 level 4 monsters on our side of the field because our Gearginos come out as level 3, but this will make them come out as level 4, so we can go into our copy of Gearganta X or other rank 4s in the deck, which is really nice to be able to do. We then also play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence just as an additional hand trap in the deck to basically just stop our opponent's monster effects. I really like this card because it also lockdowns entire columns of spells and traps, which is really cool. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, guys, we're going to start off with Gearganta X. Gearganta X is definitely a 3-of in the build, and this is one of our main boss monsters we're trying to summon all the time in this build. And this card has the ability, once per turn, you can detach an XZ material from this card to add a level 4 or lower machine type monster from our deck or graveyard to our hand. And when this card leaves the field, you can actually target a level 3 or level 4 or lower Geargia monster in your graveyard and special summon that target, which is a really cool effect to be able to just instantly get another Geargia monster on your side of the field. I love that about this card, and it's just really nice to be able to play in the deck. We then play a single copy of Gearganta XG. XG is really good as a 1-of in the deck. It is a really good card because during either player's battle step, when an attack involving your machine type monster is occurring, you can actually detach a material from this card and negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. Also, the opponent cannot activate cards or effects, which is a really cool ability. And this effect lasts until the end of the damage step, and when this face-up card leaves the field, you can target one other Geargia monster or Geargia card in your graveyard and add that target to your hand, which is a really cool ability. We then play a single copy of Baguska just in case we need to slow down the game. I really like this card as a 1-of in the build because it does help out a lot just in case we need to throw a copy of Baguska on the field, because we can make rank 4s like crazy in the deck. We play a single copy of Exciton Knight. This card just deals with the field, which is really nice, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the deck. We then play a single copy of number 60. Number 60 is insane. I love this card in the deck because it lets us draw 2 and discard a card, double the attack of a monster, or bring back a monster from the graveyard, which is super cool about this card. We then play a single copy of Utopia Double. Utopia Double is insane in the deck. You basically summon out this card to your side of the field, detach a material from this card, search your copy of Double or Nothing, make a copy of Utopia on top of it at 5,000 attack points, swing with the copy of Utopia into an opponent's monster, and then once you do, negate its attack with its own ability, drop Double or Nothing, and swing again for 10,000 attack points, OTKing your opponent, especially if you attack into a monster that has 2,000 or less attack points that's in attack position. We then play a single copy of Spriggan's Merrymaker because you want to be able to make this card so we can make our copy of Gigantic Champion Sargus. Sargus is really good because this card searches out our copy of Terverion King Regulus, also makes a humongous Zeus, which is really nice because it gets 4 materials on a Zeus, and it comes out at 2,800, 600, meaning it's a really good card to summon off of a rank 4, which is really nice. We play a single copy of Utopic Future. Utopic Future is really easy to make because we play a lot of non-number monsters like Geargia X in the deck, which is really cool to be able to summon out like 2 Geargia X, get your searches off of them, and then summon out a copy of Utopic Future, which is just really good to be able to do. I love that about this card, and it's just really easy to help us make our copy of Utopic Draco Future, which is an awesome walking negate in the deck, and it's really easy to summon in this build. Plus, this card is super hard for your opponent to deal with. We can play a single copy of AA Zeus because we are playing an XZ based deck, so this card is just really good at board wiping the field and helps out a lot overall in the build. And then finally, we play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's really good in the deck overall, especially if you end up going second and your opponent special summons a bunch of monsters in the extra deck. You can just make Typhon, get a bounce, and it's walking skill drain for 3,000 or higher attack points, which is really cool. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Geargia deck before, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's really fun to be able to play just to turbo out a bunch of different XZ monsters to your side of the field. Hopefully this deck gets some support soon because it's a really fun deck that just needs a couple more cards to be really competitive, but it's really fun to be able to play right now. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.